Hello, and welcome back to Timeless Wisdom. Have you ever walked into someone's home and felt an unexpected sense of calm? Like the atmosphere is lighter, the space feels effortless, and everything seems in its place. There's no overwhelming clutter, and nothing feels chaotic. It's as if the air is infused with peace. Maybe you've even caught yourself thinking, how do they do it? How do they create a space that's both warm and welcoming, yet still so tidy? I used to wonder the same thing. But over the years, I've realized something important. A peaceful, clutter-free home doesn't come from spending hours deep cleaning or sticking to rigid routines. Instead, it's built over time through small, intentional, choice everyday habits that gradually shape the way our space feels and functions. In this video, I'll share 10 simple things that people with peaceful, clutter-free homes tend to do every day. And no, none of them require superhuman energy or effort. They're not complicated or overwhelming. In fact, many of these habits take less than a minute. But don't underestimate their power. They make a significant difference not just in how your home looks, but in how it feels to live in it. How you feel waking up, resting, and moving through your space. These small habits transform the environment you live in, giving it a sense of calm and lightness. If you've been longing for more space to breathe both physically and mentally, then you're in the right place. Habit number 1, let go of one thing each day. There's something quietly powerful about letting go. Not all at once, not in a frenzy of trash bags and donation boxes, just one item each day. Now, that might not sound like much, but over time, it changes everything. The truth is, most of us don't get buried in clutter because we're lazy. We get buried because we're sentimental, because we're busy, because we believe we might need that item someday, or we feel guilty for giving it away. So, the clutter stays quietly, gently, until one day we realize our closets are overflowing, our drawers don't close, and our homes feel heavier than they used to. Letting go of one thing each day is not about being harsh. It's about being honest. Ask yourself, am I using this? Do I even like it? Would I bring it into my home today if I didn't already own it? Sometimes the answer will surprise you. Start simple. Maybe it's a shirt you haven't worn in 5 years. Maybe it's an old vase you never liked. Maybe it's a pile of magazines that's been sitting by your chair for months. Letting go isn't a loss, it's a release. It's telling yourself, I deserve space. I deserve to walk into a room that feels light, not burdened by things I no longer need. You don't need to empty a whole room. You don't need to fill a trash can. You just need to let go of one thing, one item, every day. That's 365 decisions a year. That's an entire home's worth of freedom made gently, slowly, with care. And you'll start to notice something. The more you let go, the easier it gets. Not just because you're building a habit, but because your heart is learning that peace feels better than possession. So, tomorrow morning, as you go to make your coffee or put on your shoes, pause, look around, find one thing that no longer belongs in this chapter of your life, and let it go. Habit number 2. If it takes less than 2 minutes, do it now. Let me ask you something. How many times have you walked past a dish in the sink and said, I'll take care of it later? Or maybe you glanced at the pile of mail on the kitchen counter and thought, I'll sort through it tomorrow. But later often turns into hours. Tomorrow becomes next week. And suddenly, there are 5 dishes instead of 1. A mountain of mail instead of a handful. That's how clutter begins. Quietly, not through chaos, but through delay. That's why I started living by a simple rule. If it takes less than 2 minutes, do it now. It sounds small and maybe even a little silly, but I promise you, it changes the way your home feels. If you can rinse a cup and put it in the dishwasher in under 2 minutes, do it now. If you can fold the throw blanket after getting up from your chair, do it now. If you can toss the junk mail right after bringing it in, do it now. These little acts might seem unimportant on their own, but they are like pebbles added to a jar. Each one fills the space with calm, with intention, and they prevent that feeling of, I don't know where to start. Because the truth is, starting is the hardest part. But when you do the task immediately before it has time to grow, it never gets heavy. Now, I'm not saying you need to rush around your house all day. This isn't about speed or perfection. It's about staying connected to your space. It's about recognizing that small effort now prevents big stress later. The more often you do it, the more natural it becomes. You start to trust yourself. You become someone who takes care of things right away. And that's a powerful shift, not just in your home, but in your mind. So, next time you finish a cup of tea, don't leave it in the sink. Next time you take off your jacket, hang it right back up. If it takes less than 2 minutes, let it be done. Your future self, the one walking into a peaceful kitchen tomorrow morning, she will thank you. Habit number 3, keep your surfaces clear. There's something about a clean surface that makes the whole room feel lighter. Have you ever noticed that? You walk into your kitchen and the counters are bare, except maybe for a vase with fresh flowers or a bowl of fruit. There's no clutter, no unopened mail, no sticky notes, no dishes left from yesterday's breakfast. And somehow, your shoulders relax. You feel like you can breathe. That's the power of a clear surface. But in most homes, especially ones that have seen decades of life, it's easy for surfaces to become storage spaces. The kitchen island becomes a landing strip for keys, receipts, and grocery bags. The coffee table turns into a library, a craft corner, and sometimes a snack tray all at once. And that corner of the dining room table, well, it hasn't seen a meal in weeks. I've been there. And I'll tell you, cluttered surfaces don't just make a room look messy, they make it feel overwhelming. And when a space feels overwhelming, we avoid it. We stop cooking in the kitchen. We stop sitting at the table. We start living around the mess instead of within our home. But here's the good news. You don't need to tackle every surface in one day. Start with just one. Maybe it's the table next to your favorite chair. Maybe it's the counter by the sink. Clear it off, wipe it down, and make a decision about every single item. Do I use this? Do I love this? Does this belong here? Once it's clear, give yourself a rule. Nothing lands there unless it truly belongs. And if something new shows up, like a letter or a dish, handle it right away or find it a better home. You'll be amazed how one clear space changes the energy of a whole room. And once you feel that lightness, you'll want more of it. Not because you're chasing perfection, but because it feels good to live in a space that gives back to you. So choose one surface today. Clear it, care for it, and protect it. Let it remind you what your home can feel like with a little love and a little less. Habit number 4, do a daily reset in your main living areas. There's a certain peace that comes at the end of the day. When the world quiets down, the lights soften, and you get to return to your space. And the habit that has helped me keep that peace, a daily reset. Now, I don't mean a deep clean. I don't mean getting out the mop or organizing closets. I simply mean this. Before the day ends, spend 10 or 15 minutes resetting the areas you use the most. For me, it's the kitchen, the living room, and the entryway. I fluff the pillows. I fold the throw blanket I use during my afternoon nap. I wipe the counters. And I make sure everything is back where it belongs. It's not about doing it perfectly. It's about finishing the day with care, the same way you might gently fold the last page of a letter before putting it away. This small act tells your home, thank you for holding me today. And it tells your future self, I want you to wake up to peace. There's nothing quite like waking up to a clean kitchen, no dishes in the sink, no crumbs on the counter. It sets the tone for the whole day. Even if the rest of the house isn't perfect, even if the bedroom still needs tidying, that small corner of calm creates momentum. This habit also becomes a way to reflect. As you move through your space, picking up a book or folding a sweater, you're also gathering your thoughts, letting the day settle, creating closure. And when you sit down afterward, maybe with a cup of tea and the lamp turned low, you'll feel it. That beautiful sense of being at ease in your own home. Habit number 5, shift your relationship with later. We all say it. I'll do it later. Later becomes a promise we whisper to ourselves when we're tired, distracted, or just not in the mood. And sometimes that's okay. We're human. We get tired. But if we're not careful, later becomes a lifestyle. Later becomes dishes in the sink. Later becomes bags left unpacked for days. Later becomes the growing weight of all the things we haven't faced. Here's what I've learned. Later is not some magical moment when energy comes back and motivation returns. Later is just more tired, more delayed, more mess. And the truth is, the task doesn't get any easier. The sock on the floor won't fold itself. The letter won't open itself. And when we keep putting things off, we create more work for our future self. So, I started asking myself a simple question. Will this be easier later? If the answer is no, and it usually is, I do it now. Now might feel inconvenient, but now is honest. Now is kind. Doing the little thing now doesn't mean you have to fix everything. It just means you don't add weight to tomorrow. And when you start showing up for yourself in this way, choosing now, not later, your space starts to feel lighter. Not just physically, but emotionally too. It's not about perfection. It's about respect for your time, your energy, and your peace. So, the next time you hear yourself say, I'll do it later, pause and ask gently, can I give myself the gift of doing it now? Habit number 6, be honest about backups and how many you really need. Let me tell you something I had to learn the hard way. Backups can quietly become clutter. Now, I'm not against being prepared, not one bit. Having an extra tube of toothpaste or a spare bottle of shampoo, that's smart. That's thoughtful. But what happens when one backup turns into 3, then 5, and suddenly the linen closet starts to look like a drugstore aisle? That's what happened to me. For years, I told myself I was just being responsible. I'd buy extra hand soap, more batteries, a few extra rolls of tape just in case. I liked the idea of not running out. It made me feel secure. But slowly, without meaning to, I was stockpiling. And it didn't feel like security anymore. It felt like stress. The cabinets were full. I couldn't find anything. I was buying things I already had simply because I couldn't see what was buried behind the clutter. One day, I looked under my bathroom sink and found 4 unopened bottles of lotion, 3 of which I didn't even like. That's when it hit me. I wasn't shopping for convenience. I was shopping out of habit, or maybe even a little fear. So I made a new rule for myself, 1 in use and 1 in reserve. That's it. Now, when I run low on something, I buy 1 more. Not 2, not 5, just 1. And if I find myself wanting to stockpile just in case, I ask, what's really going on here? Am I worried I won't have enough? Or am I avoiding dealing with what I already have? This small shift has brought so much peace. My shelves are easier to manage. I can see everything I own. I don't feel weighed down by extra bottles, boxes, or backup supplies that I forgot were even there. And maybe most importantly, I trust myself now. I trust that I'll handle things when I need to. I don't need to live like a storage room is around every corner. If you're in a season of life where space, simplicity, and ease are more valuable than bulk purchases and overstocked drawers, this habit is for you. Take a look around your home. Open one drawer or cabinet. Be honest with yourself. Do I need all of this? What could I release today to make a little more space tomorrow? You'll find that less backup often brings more breathing room. And that, my friend, is the kind of preparation that truly matters. Habit number 7, don't let dirty dishes spend the night. There's a certain weight that dishes in the sink carry. It's more than food scraps or dirty silverware. It's a quiet reminder of something left undone. A whisper that says, you didn't finish. Even if the rest of the house looks fine, that one mess in the sink can undo the feeling of calm we try so hard to create. I know what it's like to be tired after a long day. Your back aches a little, your feet are sore, and the thought of scrubbing dishes feels like a mountain. So you tell yourself, I'll do them in the morning. And maybe you do. But something's always heavier about waking up to mess. There's no clean start, no peace waiting to greet you. That's why I made a simple promise to myself. The dishes don't sleep in the sink. Even on days when I'm exhausted, I take just 5 or 10 minutes to rinse and put away what I can. If I've cooked a full dinner, maybe I leave the pots to soak, but the plates and forks are handled. The sink gets wiped, the counters get cleared, and when I leave the kitchen, I feel like I've gently closed the door on the day. There's something beautifully symbolic about a clean sink before bed. It tells your home, we're done for today. It tells your mind, you can rest now. And it tells your tomorrow self, I took care of you before I closed my eyes. And here's the secret. It doesn't have to be perfect. Some nights I don't shine the faucet or sweep the crumbs. Some nights I just rinse the last mug and place it neatly in the rack. But that alone makes all the difference. This habit creates discipline. Yes, but more than that, it creates peace. It gives your morning a sense of order. It gives your evening a feeling of closure. And slowly, your kitchen becomes a space of comfort, not chaos. So tonight, after dinner is done and your body says rest, just take those few extra steps. Wash the dish, rinse the cup, wipe the counter, and tell yourself, this is my gift to tomorrow. Trust me, it's one of the kindest habits you can build. Habit number 8. Have a home for everything you use and love. Have you ever spent 10 minutes searching for your reading glasses only to find them under a magazine or checked 3 drawers before locating your favorite pen? If so, you're not alone. It doesn't mean you're forgetful. It means your things don't have homes. This habit changed everything for me. Give everything you use and love a proper place to live. I'm not talking about stuffing it somewhere out of sight. I mean choosing a spot. A real designated home where that item lives when you're not using it and where it returns each and every time. No guesswork, no frustration. Think of it like this. Your home is like a quiet little village, and every object is a neighbor. The ones that belong should have their own address. When they roam too far, when your scissors are in the bathroom, your vitamins are in the kitchen, and your remote's missing again, what you're feeling isn't confusion, it's disorder. So I started small. A tray for keys, a basket for the mail, a ceramic bowl on the end table for my hearing aids at night. Nothing fancy, just consistent. And the beauty is, once everything has a home, tidying becomes almost effortless. At the end of the day, you're not cleaning. You're just returning things to their places. It takes minutes, but the feeling it gives you lasts much longer. Even better, this habit reveals the items you don't actually need. Because if something has no place, if it keeps floating from corner to corner without purpose or function, maybe it doesn't belong at all. We only need homes for the things we truly use and truly love. Not everything we've collected over decades, not everything we've been told to keep just in case. Ask yourself, do I use this? Do I love this? Does this make my life easier or better? And if the answer is yes, then honor it with a space. Give it a home, and every time you return it there, you'll feel a soft kind of satisfaction, like putting a good book back on the shelf, knowing you'll return to it again. It's not about organizing for perfection. It's about creating ease over and over, one gentle habit at a time. Habit number 9, pause before bringing something new into your home. Years ago, I would walk into a store, see something lovely on the shelf, a cushion, a candle, a new kitchen gadget, and I'd think, well, that would be nice to have. And before I knew it, it was in my cart. It wasn't about greed. It was about comfort, about chasing a little burst of happiness, about thinking, if I just had this one more thing, I'd feel more at peace. But peace doesn't come from more. It comes from enough. Over time, my closets grew full. My counters filled with decorations and duplicates. I had 3 sets of measuring cups, 6 throw pillows in one room, and every time I opened a drawer, it was harder to find what I really needed. That's when I learned the habit that changed everything. Pause before you bring anything new into your home. Now, when I find something I like, whether online or in person, I don't buy it right away. I give myself space. I wait a day, sometimes 2. If I forget about it, that tells me everything I need to know. It wasn't a need, it was a moment. But if I still want it, then I ask myself 3 questions. 1. Do I already have something like this? 2. Where will this live in my home? 3. Is this truly going to add peace to my life or just take up space? Most of the time, the answer becomes clear. This habit isn't about denying yourself joy. It's about making joy intentional. Because every item you bring home requires care. It needs cleaning, storage, attention. And the more we collect, the more of ourselves we give away to manage it. So now, instead of buying more, I've learned to appreciate what I already have. I light the candle I was saving. I use the good dishes on a regular Tuesday. I sit in the chair that once was just decoration. And I found that this kind of simplicity, this kind of clarity, feels far better than anything money can buy. Next time you see something you want, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, will this add to my life or just my shelf? Habit number 10, pause before letting anything new into your home. If you take only one thing from this entire list, let it be this. The best way to avoid clutter is to keep it from entering your home in the first place. I know that might sound obvious, but for years I didn't live that way. I brought things home on a whim. A pretty bowl I saw at the store, a sweater I didn't need but was on sale. Sometimes it was boredom, sometimes it was habit, but slowly, gently, my home began to feel full. Not with meaning, but with stuff. The truth is, many of the things we call clutter didn't start that way. We chose them. We welcomed them in. But we didn't pause to ask ourselves if we had the room, not just on the shelf, but in our life. So now, I live by a quiet little rule, one I wish I'd learned decades earlier. When you want to buy something, wait. That's it. Just wait. Leave it in your online cart. Walk away from the aisle. Close the catalog and give yourself one day, sometimes 2. Then ask yourself, do I still want it? Will it truly add to my life or just add to my home? Do I already have something like it? And this one is big. Where will it live? If I can't answer those questions clearly, I don't buy it. 9 times out of 10, the urge passes. And that space I would have filled with a new object, I now fill with peace, with intention, with gratitude for what I already have. It's not about being frugal, it's about being free. Free from the cycle of acquiring, organizing, and eventually discarding things that never brought real value. And when you do choose to bring something new into your life, it feels different. It feels right. You've given it thought, time, and space. You've made room before it even arrives. That's the key to a clutter-free home. Not just cleaning what's already here, but protecting your space from what doesn't belong in it to begin with. So the next time you feel that tug to click buy now or say why not to another impulse item, pause, breathe, and ask yourself gently, is this thing worthy of my home, my time, and my energy? Because your home deserves to hold only what supports you, serves you, or brings you joy. And so do you. Final remarks. So here we are. 10 small habits, simple and easy. Yet when combined, they have the power to transform not just your home, but the way you feel throughout your days, your energy, and perhaps even your heart. A clutter-free home is not about getting rid of everything. It's about creating a space that allows you to feel at ease when you wake up in the morning. It's about moving through your day without the burden of unnecessary weight. It's about giving space to what truly matters right now, not holding on to what no longer serves you. Remember, this isn't a race. You don't have to do everything all at once. You don't even need to follow all 10 habits. Maybe you start small, clear one drawer. Maybe tonight you wash the dishes before bed for the first time in a while. Or perhaps as you walk by a store window this weekend and spot something you like, you decide not to bring it home. That's how change happens quietly, one small decision at a time. And if no one has told you this lately, let me remind you, you're doing just fine. You've built a life full of stories, memories, and experiences. Now, it might be time to make space for a little more peace. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this video has given you even one moment of peace or a fresh idea, I'm so grateful. You're always welcome here at Timeless Wisdom, where we slow down, reflect, and take a deeper breath. Take care of your space, and even more importantly, take care of yourself. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified about new content. I look forward to sharing more peaceful ideas with you next time.